What if you could knit your perfect summer wardrobe, 10 pieces, all made by hand? In 2025, that's exactly what I'm doing. Welcome to my Summer Knits Capsule Wardrobe Series, Episode 1. Hi, I'm Yvette and welcome to my channel. Over here, I talk about all things art, from painting to knitting. As the title suggests, I'm on a mission to knit a summer knits capsule wardrobe, and this is the first part of this new series. If you're not familiar with the concept of a capsule wardrobe, it is essentially a curated collection of clothing that is designed to mix and match seamlessly. The idea is to focus on quality over quantity, a collection of small, versatile items that are still really functional and stylish. So, why am I doing this? First of all, I live in a really hot climate. We're talking 30 degrees or higher pretty much all year round. As a result, traditional knitting content like sweaters, while beautiful, just simply don't suit my lifestyle. Another big reason is practicality. Knitting is slow fashion and it takes me about a month or two to finish a garment. Since I only started knitting last June in 2024, I do not have many finished pieces. So I want my early projects to be wearable and versatile, things that I can reach for often and style in many different ways. I also want to be intentional with what I knit. I want to focus on quality, comfort, and wearability rather than quantity. I want to knit garments that I actually enjoy wearing, not just knitting for the sake of it. And finally, I would love to make the shift towards wearing more knitted handmade garments rather than store-bought ones. With fast fashion and mass production, a lot of clothes these days are made from plastic-based materials. I would prefer to wear natural fibers like cotton, linen, and silk. With that being said, I recognize that it is a privilege to be able to have this choice, and if polyester or acrylic works for you, that's fine too. So let's talk inspiration. To colors, I am mostly leaning towards light, vibrant, and warm colors. Since my trip to Korea in March, I've since found out that I am a light spring with pale autumn as my secondary palette, so that's the color palette that I'm drawing from. That said, I'm not being super strict about it. If I come across a color that I like that is outside that range, I'm definitely open to including it. The goal is to build a wardrobe that I want to reach for, so flexibility is key. In terms of style, I'm going for minimalist and chic. Pieces that feel clean, stylish, and timeless. I'm especially drawn to patterns that don't look store-bought but at the same time don't scream handmade. That sweet spot where it feels effortless yet still put together, that's exactly the vibe that I'm going for. This is my current style. I like layering pieces, I love oversized t-shirts, but I do like the occasional feminine style as well. Let's talk about the guidelines. To start with, I'm planning to make around 10 garments for this capsule wardrobe. I am looking for a good balance between tops and bottoms, and within the tops, I'm looking for a good mix of tanks and tees. Pieces that are light, versatile, and easy to style. These aren't strict rules though, they are more like flexible guidelines that help me stay focused without feeling boxed in. If I feel inspired to knit something that was outside what I originally planned for, then I would definitely go for it. This series is meant to be fun and not feel like a chore. Let me show you what I've knitted so far. Here are the summer garments that I have finished so far. I have knitted the Nata dress by Knitwear, T No. 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, as well as the Ava top by Mochi Knits. With that being said, I wouldn't count this Ava top as one of my capsule garments, and the reason is pretty simple. I don't feel comfortable wearing it. This top is pretty low cut and is also slightly see-through. As such, I feel a little bit self-conscious, and that kind of defeats the whole point of the capsule wardrobe, which is to build a collection of clothes that I would actually want to wear regularly. Let me show you my yarn. So here's my yarn stash. It is a pretty humble collection, but I love it. Most of the yarns are light in color, which fits perfectly with the palette I'm going for. Some of the brands I have right now include Knitting for Olive, Drops, and Wool and the Gang. I also have a nice mix of fibers in my stash, everything from silk and cotton merino to combed cotton, linen, and even tencel. There's a great variety for creating lightweight, breathable garments that are perfect for a summer wardrobe. However, I will still need to buy a bit more yarn for some of the garments I've got planned, so I'll be sure to show you those yarns in future videos. Now let's talk about the possible garments that I am going to be knitting. I already have 2 finished garments, that is the T No. 1 and the Nata dress. First up, I have 2 whips. This is the camisole No. 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I think it is backwards. I think this is how it's supposed to look like. I'm currently knitting this other side of the sleeve. The second is T No. 1, also by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I'm using 100% combed cotton for this, and I love this white color. It is super soft to work with, but as you can see, I have much less progress with this one as compared to my capsule number 9. I'm actually on my second T number 1 because the first one was so fun to make, and the final garment turned out super comfortable and well fitted as well that I had to make a second one right away. Moving on to patterns that I'm considering, the first one is the Darjeeling blouse by Trust the Mojo. Now, I've had my eye on this pattern for the longest time, but I have yet to start because I was so intimidated by how difficult it looks. I am planning to use the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the shade Dusty Banana, and this is how it looks like. I think it is such a lovely pale yellow. I am not sure if I have enough because I'm most likely going to hold this yarn double for the Darjeeling blouse. So I'm not sure if I have enough yarn. I only bought 4 balls of this. The next 2 things that I'm planning to make are the gamma shorts as well as the bicolor skirt, and I talked about them in my previous video in the 21 Weather Knits video, and these will be likely the only 2 bottoms that I knit. I am planning to use drop spell for both of them because I don't want to use too expensive yarn for things that will end up as bottoms. To put it bluntly, I do not want to spend so much money on silk that will end up on my ass. So that's why I decided to use drop spell. For the bicolor skirt, I am planning to use these 2 colors. I talked about it in my previous video as well. I am planning to knit it in these 2 colors. In the shade, I think, Almond Rose and Rose Water. So these are how they look like. Super cute colors. The last 2 possible patterns are the Fleur Tee as well as the Twist Loop Top. They are a really nice t-shirt and a tank. For the Fleur Tee, I'm likely going to be using Knitting for Olive Pure Silk Held Double, and for the Twist Loop Top, I am planning to use the Cotton Merino Held Single. The main goal for the series is really simple. I just want to have fun, and if I end up with a beautiful solid wardrobe at the end of it, that's just a bonus. The purpose of the series isn't to be fully decked out in knits 100% of the time. I just want to have a knitted something worn most of the time. That's all I have for this video. Stay tuned for the next episode where I share about my first capsule garments.